For our next presenter, the presentation is called Case Study, the Smart Textbook. And very much interested to learn about the whole concept. Of course, we're all aware that this was a multi-awarded and internationally recognized campaign. And this will be presented by Miss Merlee Jayme. And if I could just read her credentials. Miss Merlee Cruz Jayme is DM9's JaymeSyfu chairman or chairmom and the chief creative officer. Before DM9, she was the executive creative director of BBDO Guerrero and the vice president, executive creative director of A Sachi and Sachi. Since starting her small shop almost 7 years ago, DM9 JaymeSyfu, an affiliate of DDB worldwide, has been blessed with the Philippines' very first Cannes Lion Grand Prix for mobile this year and the very first Media Cannes Lion in 2009. The Grand Prix for mobile and the Grand Prix of the Year in AdStart 2013, Korea, an impressive number of medals from Cannes. Oh, there's a long list. Clio's, AdFest, DNAD Award Australia, The Work, and a Gold in Spikes Asia, Epica, and Digital Asian Awards. They have been ranked the Philippines #1 in 2010 Campaign Brief Asia ranking and awarded the very first Campaign Asia Pacific Creative Agency of the Year for the Philippines in 2012 in Singapore. She was awarded with 2 major citations in 2009, the Hall of Fame Award for the Creative Guild of the Philippines and the New York Festival's Creative Achievement Award. Her recent international jury duties include last year's role as the jury president for Outdoor Lotus in AdFest, Pattaya, a jury member in the prestigious Cannes Lions Festival in France for Outdoor Lions category, and the jury head and speaker for Indonesia's biggest award show, Citra Parawa, in 2012. This year, she was one of the chosen judges to be part of the executive jury and speaker in New York for the New York festivals. Active as well in the local industry, she was the chair of the recently concluded 4A's Agency of the Year 2013. So, ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Merlee Jayme.
All right, good afternoon. Okay, I have a cough, so I have to just put this here. Okay. So I'm going to talk about, I'm sure a lot of you guys are well aware of this campaign. It's a smart textbooks. The task then was all about the Smart Public Affairs Group asked us to do a campaign for their pillars. And the pillars would be disaster preparedness, we have education, we have innovations, and we have environment. Every year we have to do something like that, like a print ad series probably telling people of what they've done. And they chose education this year. And for education, sometimes we talk about what they do in the provinces, how they help in the schools, the public schools in the provinces, like a print ad that tells you that they've donated computers probably, or sometimes like they're helping, let's say, tourism, like by coming up with a promo for people to talk about the provinces on their using in their own language, in their own dialect rather. So things like that. However, like the way we do work in DM9, we always like push ourselves. Like we always tell ourselves that every single work order that lands on our desk is an opportunity. An opportunity to do something more. As if wala kaming masyadong trabaho. We have tons of work to do, but we do that. We push ourselves, we question the brief, what else can we do, and we look for possibilities. Now, this was one of an example in the office that really did it for us. First, when we were given the chance to do work for education, we looked for problems. What are the problems that we can probably solve, especially in the public schools in the provinces? And really, when you look at the kids right now, I've actually seen a short film on how kids in the provinces would go to school. the way they would carry their books, and they would ride bangkas, and they would wear slippers and walk probably 2 kilometers to school, carrying so many books. And when we looked at the studies, it's up to 22 books. Actually, public and private schools the same. I mean, they're very much the same because my kids have wheels. But these kids, they just carry on. So, 22 books every day. And sometimes, though, you have lockers here, but in their cases, there's none. This also would leave them exhausted and unfocused, and in many cases with back problems or scoliosis. So can you imagine carrying 22 books every single day, and you're this small, thin? Yes, that would probably cause you some back problems. And you know, coming from SMART, we were dealing with our clients, Monisberto, we were saying, you're a telecommunications company, and you're very well entrenched with technology and innovation anyway. So we were saying, today, we use apps to solve problems. We use the MMDA app to know whether there's traffic on this road or this road. It solves a lot of problems now, technology. Like, we also have websites. In Damwe Sudai, we have games to teach children to be careful. You know, so we use technology today. So we were saying we have to use technology as a solution. So that was also a challenge to our teams. And so given the heavy books, kids walking, having that problem, we were saying, in developed countries, you have tablets. You have all of these gadgets. But it is very, very expensive for us. We cannot afford it. Even this guy is complaining that it is very expensive. He even said, I want to see a tablet that's the same price as a textbook. So it is we can't afford it. Tablets is out of the question. Even if you even buy iPads, Divisoria, I don't think it will solve the problem, you know? So we had to look for other solutions. Okay. Now we had to look for our strength. What is our strength? We are very resourceful. And as Filipinos, we look at, ang tawag namin dyan, may basura. Ano? May pera sa basura. Diba? So we look at things that we don't use anymore. So we looked at the SIM card. SMART told us before they have a lot of surplus SIM cards. SIM cards, today, it's getting smaller and smaller. So what do you do with the bigger ones? So they have a lot of surplus, the big ones, SIM cards. We also have these old Nokia phones, or old phones. We call them feature phones, GSM phones, analog phones. We have a lot of those. And we don't even know where to throw them, really. Okay. My kids play with them, but don't know what to do with them. So 75% of phones like these would sell, and they're still feature phones, you know, and they're more accessible and they're more affordable, of course, for everyone, if they still use it. And they still do the basic job of calling and texting, okay? This is a story that my mom would tell me. Even thieves would not get this phone. You know, when may holdapan sa bank, and then they say, bring out your phones, you know, and they even choose, when they see these phones, they throw them out. So this is really like trash already, okay? So there, being resourceful, the idea was born. It was very simple. You turn trash to textbooks. And really, smart textbooks is making text light and easy. Your books, making them light and easy. Because it's a simple idea of making the SIM, which I found out later on, is Subscriber Information Module, as a storage for learning materials. In short, it's a USB. And we've never really would know that until we were tinkering things in the office. Okay? And, you know, if you put it in a diagram, it's going to be like this. The standard SIM card. There are only two things inside your SIM card. The contacts, the names of your numbers, and the messages. We turned the contacts into the table of contents for the book. And then we turned the messages into the content of the workbook. We only chose, you know when you go to school, you have a main book where you read stories and everything else. And then you have a workbook where you answer all the tests, the quizzes, the exercises. That's the one we condensed. because that's going to be the partner to the heavier books which you can actually leave in school. So that's how it is. And this is how it looks like. It looks so low-tech. But to the kids, when we showed it to them, they were so fast in learning it. So that's how it is on the phone. Now, I know you've seen this video probably a lot of times, but I just have to show it. Before that, this is how we designed the sleeves of the books. So it's packaged kid-friendly, so the kids would like looking at it and keeping it. So, and this is how, when we distributed it in schools, when we did the pilot tests, they were like amazed how small the books were. They didn't know it was a SIM card inside. And the discovery of kids, you know, it was easier to teach the kids how to use the phones with the SIM cards more than the teachers. The funny thing is, you know, as adults, Nokiang luma na nga yun, nai-intimidate pa tayo when it's not used the usual way. It's so funny. But the kids, they just turn it on, and then they were answering the questions already in the phone. It was so easy. And it made them excited, and, you know, you can feel the energy in the classrooms. There they are. So the learning also was here in Metro Manila, it was like grade 3. We only chose a certain grade level first. And then when we moved out to Bulacan, the grade 3 kids are grade 6. I mean, there's a little lagging behind in the provinces, so we had to develop another set. So, yes, I have to share with you the video once again.
Sa laki na sa dami ng mga libro, nadi-deform tuloy physically ang mga bata.
Pagdating sa school, pagod na sila, kumain na hindi na nag-work.
But while developed countries have solved this problem through tablets and e-readers, for these families, even the cheapest models cost more than their whole monthly income. In fact, the only gadgets most of them own are old analog mobile phones used mainly for texting. Then we realized, what if we could use these millions of old phones to create a new brand of textbook? Smart, the country's largest telecom, took its mission to make text light and easy further than ever, as we introduced Smart Textbooks. Over 6 months, we collaborated with respected textbook publishers to condense official school texts, from in-class lesson guides to homework exercises, into 160-character text messages. Smart then programmed these texts into the inboxes of thousands of inactive surplus SIM cards, which were then repackaged into new Smart Textbooks. We launched them in partner schools that needed it most, where the simple and in fact low-tech solution made a profound sustainable impact. It turned even the oldest phones into a new kind of e-reader, and old SIM cards into a new brand of textbook. So less effort was spent carrying and storing books, and far more effort learning from them. And with petitions and pledges from more schools and education sector members, Smart Textbooks is going even further, with plans already underway for more subjects and grade levels, kits so schools themselves can reproduce Smart Textbooks for free, and best of all, a rollout across the entire Philippines.
Well, we always like to be at the cutting edge of an innovation, particularly relevant innovation. I want to see how this thing moves forward.
Balang araw, mabibigyan natin sila lahat ng tablets, pero sa ngayon, dapat simulan natin. Ito, pinaka-perfect na simula ito, proyekto na Smart na ito.
Pag ganito na po yung workbook namin, hindi na po ako mabibigatan.
Fulfilling Smart's mission to make every kind of text light and easy for all.
Okay, so that was the case study. What are the next steps? It's been how many months since we launched it? We are in the process of talking to the Department of Education. We want a final go so we can roll it out to more schools and to outside just Manila. We can go to the provinces. And, you know, there is a policy of DepEd that you cannot use cell phones in the classrooms. So that's the one we're also working with them. You know, these phones, first and foremost, they will not like playing with or bring home. Second, it's deactivated. You cannot call or text. So these are, the thing is, these phones just turn on. Most of these old phones are just, busted already. It's really old. As long as it turns on, we can use it. Okay, so the kids will not really play with it. So they're like passed to them like books, and they're also passed back to the teachers after class. So we're creating that policy with DepEd. Another step is that after it garnered a lot of PR, we are getting a lot of calls and Skype sessions with 2 countries. We have India and South Africa. They're trying to learn the innovation so that they could also roll it out there. And that one, we're so excited because at least we could help other children in the rest of the world, not just here. And of course, when I was just in Korea, which is the land of cell phones, and I was in Australia last month, everyone I meet, or even GMA or ABS, whoever interviewed us, would always ask me, where can we donate our old phones? The Koreans, they really want to, oh my God, they're gonna give new phones. So the next step, logically, also, for us, is to have a whole campaign on Donate a Phone. We're just finalizing that as well. So you will be seeing this online, and probably in smart stores and posters everywhere. The older it is, the better. For as long as it turns on, that green light or the orange light, game. So this is the logical way to go after. And then, as a texting capital of the world for 20 years, it is just fitting that we win the biggest award for the country. That one also was so rewarding, literally, for the client as well. It has given us 3 Grand Prix awards so far. The one in Cannes last June, and just last week, the Grand Prix for mobile and the Grand Prix of the year for public service in AdStars in Korea. And a lot of PR and free media mileage. The thing with this is the one that people from South Africa, different agencies from South Africa has been calling us and having conversation, and the one from India as well. The one I truly was enjoying was Facebook. The Facebook in the United States was calling us that they want to support it as well. Now, the theme for Korea last week got me. It says, create solutions and change the world. That was the theme of AdStars, and I would say it has inspired us to do things like these ideas. And what's nice is when we were thinking about it, we were just about to help people here. We didn't think it would go as big as the world. And, as looking at this problem right now, even if it seems small, but if you're a mom, you would understand, it is very low technology. We did not create this most innovative technology, but however, I know we created the most innovative solution. So, as my few last words, this is really a short presentation, but creativity, I'm a creative. Creativity is really powerful. You can really do a lot of things with creativity, but coupled with technology, it is even more powerful. So if you're into technology, you have to think of many ways to help out. Because what makes it great is when it's coupled all the more with humanity. Thank you.
Any questions from the room? Interesting. I guess I've been 18 years in the mobile business. That's why for me this was a very truly innovative way of adapting SMS. I guess my first question here is, for schools, how much kind of investment would they need to consider to bring this in for, let's say, a typical public school?
We are not looking into selling.
Yes.
This is part of Smart CSR. So for Smart, we only have to provide the phones, but the SIM cards are totally free. So the phones, we already have a lot, but not enough.
Okay.
So I hope that the drive for Donate a Phone would help a lot to roll it out to more schools. I know we didn't want to make money out of it, but there is a possibility, though, that because of the technology, you can make you can sell it to brands. Because if you look at the innovation, it's not exactly, it's so simple. And no one has thought about it. In fact, when we first presented it to Smart, the engineers of Smart, because they wanted to know how we did it, and the engineers were saying, before you present us how you did it, we'll present to you the diagram. And then they have a whole chart. Something I cannot understand. Okay, not me. Okay, so I go, no, that's not the way we did it. And we showed how. It was so simple that they said, oh my God, we didn't even think you can do it that way. So it's so simple that it will take you a short time to do it. Mm-hmm. And then if you already have the resources like the SIM cards, it's going to be total. I think what we can do is patent it. Because if we're going to not sell it, but share it with the rest of the world, it's nice that they understand it came from the Philippines.
Well, maybe if I can rephrase my question, all the while I thought, let's say a public school, rather than get the students having to buy the actual textbooks. So basically, in this context, it's a donation for the schools. Okay.
It is going to be partnered with the publishers.
Any questions from the audience?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Ai.
Hi, good afternoon. I actually wanted to know how did you abridge or condense the lessons? I mean, at the start, you would have had to have meetings with the schools because it's a lesson plan. I mean, so it has to be constantly upgraded or changed.
Okay, 2 questions on that. You have 2 questions. One is the one, how did we do it, condensing it? And the other one is, how do we upgrade it or update it? Okay, 2 things. First, we met with the publishers because that's already approved. What they have already printed is already approved by the DepEd. So we told them, how do we condense this without missing out anything? So that's the one. We got from them. They chose particular lessons. It's a workbook, so it's basically questions that we shortened. Okay, so that's how we did it. So we don't really tamper with what was DepEd approved textbooks. We just had that first. The second question on updating, we are in the process of making this technology in a way that once you already have it's just like your app. Once you already have the old one on your phone, it just keeps on updating and you don't need to change SIM cards. So we are in the process of doing that now.
Then that's where, again, the smart network will come in.
Yes, that's the one. We're just devising it in a way that is, once we send the SIM cards out, they don't have to come back. So what we're trying to design now for Smart is how to update it in a very short manner, short way, and easy as well. So that's how you update it.
Any questions from the group? There. Could you state your name as well, please?
I'm Honey from Jayme Network. So I just want to ask, how many textbooks can fit in one SIM card? And second, which areas is this available already? And lastly, what if my phone that I will donate to you is exclusive to Globe? Is that possible?
No. Okay. Someone from Smart. Okay. First question was how many
textbooks
one.
Can fit in
One workbook.
Right.
Okay. First, in the first run, 1, because we didn't want to let go. We didn't want to take out certain things, so we want to make sure everything fits. 1, but that's very condensed. Okay. The second question is, what was the second question? Which areas? Okay. We had a pilot test here in Makati. We have 5 schools, and Bulacan, only because I'm from Bulacan, so it's easier to get into the schools. But we had schools in Bulacan. But that was just a pilot test. Our next meeting with the deputies on Monday. So the thing is really, where can we now start in a bigger scale? Because they would give us the list of schools. So we have to be prepared as well. So just it's going to be next school year, definitely. But where and how many should we churn? With the help of Smart now, not just us. So on the third one, that's a good question because really, we were just getting phones from everyone. I didn't even know if it's locked or not. So maybe in the process of reprogramming it worked, even if it's on a globe phone. Because we didn't care. People would donate phones. Everyone would give us phones, and we would just insert it, and it works. So I never really entered my mind if it was locked or it only the SIM card is smart, exclusive. I don't think so. It works. I remember when I was giving a talk in Singapore, and the Singapore group was asking me, was telling me, that idea will not work with us because our phones are smartphones. I go, no, for as long as the SIM card is the big one, you have smartphones with the big SIM cards anyway. Samsung or the first gen iPhone, it works. It works.
I think it's not as of a question, but maybe also a suggestion, because a lot of donated phones are what we call the legacy phones, right? So, and I still show the first Nokia there in your, I guess, apart from having the phones donated, maybe a drive for the batteries, because since these are old handsets, so most probably the batteries also are not available anymore. So maybe it's a drive, maybe through IMAP we can help out.
And chargers.
Yeah.
The chargers are different already, so we can't buy that anymore.
Yeah, maybe it's something that we can do on an industry basis to help out. Are there any other questions? Well, with that, we'd like to thank you, Merlee, for sharing us the Smart Text.